All right. I recently read an article that said Palantir fair market value of $5. Right. So I have to respond. I don't do technicals, it, but I do want to maybe do some comparisons here. So like, let's take a look at Palantir's price to sales ratio, right? And currently we're sitting, somewhere around 21, which is really high, right? Like if we go back and compare it to Google, right? Google's at 8, whereas it historically has probably sat around 6 or 7. Microsoft's up to 13, which is interesting, but it's historically traded at much lower multiples. But what's interesting there is like Palantir is at the very start of the growth curve, whereas some of these other companies are mature companies, right? And I think it points more to a market that's just full of liquidity, or is on its way. That liquidity is on its way out. It's not necessarily something endemic to Palantir that we need to just hammer on Palantir, right? Like Palantir again is at the very start of the growth of a new market in which we don't know what the TAM is going to be, because no one knows what the big data OS and AI services is really going to translate to 5 years from now. I do believe it's the start of a new revolution. Every company knows it. Anyone who works in IT at any company, big or small, has data science initiatives going on right now because everyone wants to make data-driven decisions. It's a more effective way to compete. There are Harvard School of Business studies that show any company making data-driven decisions and using AI is going to have a competitive advantage in the future. So this is a TAM we don't really know what it's going to be, in much the same way when Microsoft started out, no one knew what the TAM of the PC was going to be, right? So these companies are at the end of that growth curve. Palantir is at the very beginning. Now this is the interesting part. Why are people banging on Palantir, hammering the Palantir investment community, and they won't talk about Snowflake, right? Because Snowflake, they're this hugely scalable business. If you watch my video on Snowflake, you'll know it's a fucking columnar database, dude. It ain't that great. Like the TAM for that isn't nearly the TAM for Foundry. And I've seen the Foundry platform. I know what it can do. I went through 3 demos from Palantir on the platform. I'll have a whole nother video on that. But Snowflake, like where's the $5 price target for Snowflake, right? Like, like to me, that is the most overvalued company ever. Well, let's take a look at another one, Shopify. Woo, Shopify! Look at these multiples, right? Like the e-commerce market's going to be bigger than the big data OS market. Really? Oh my goodness! Look at Tesla. Tesla's up there. I mean, people do like to bag on Tesla, so fair enough. But but really, what this looks like to me is just a market that has way too much money floating around, and really what's happening probably is just a broader turnover, a broader exiting of some of that liquidity, and stocks are getting hammered. Palantir investors, I wouldn't really freak out right now, and part of that reason is like, look, the Wall Street Journal put out an article the other day. The AI software market is forecasted to hit 62 billion in 2022. And that's what I'm talking about. We don't know what the TAM is going to be. What's that going to be in 2023 or 2025? Do you think that number's going down, or do you think it's going up? And if it's going up, by what order of magnitude, right? I personally believe that at some point after 2025, Palantir is going to be finding itself with a TAM of well over $1 trillion. And you'll have a hard time not valuing that company at hundreds of billions of dollars. The opposite could happen. There's plenty of problems with this management. I'm also going to do a video on what I see as more red flags from their management team and a lot of the crappy decisions they're making. And I will talk about the platform to the extent I can. I am under NDA with them. But I do want to say, like, if Palantir is going to hit $5, please give me a date and time, because I want to line up to buy that thing. Or maybe it's never going to hit $5, and that's just you taking a baseball bat to a bunch of people who are down on their luck. So, if you're going to take a baseball bat to Palantir and its investors, why don't you just take a baseball bat to all these investors too? Because it's all bullshit in my opinion. So, anyway, I think that if Palantir does hit $5, I'm going to have to just like sell everything and take loan out of my house and make sure that I load the boat, because Palantir at $5 would be like investment dream. But I don't think you're ever going to see that price. Maybe it drops to 10, maybe, at which point you better load the boat, or at least I would be loading the boat. But anyway, don't lose faith. Lots of good things happening out there.